Hello and welcome to our module on strategic management. This will be our topic number 1, Introduction to Strategic Management. And in this particular topic, by the end of the topic, we'll be able to understand the nature and characteristics of various strategies. Also, you'll be able to explore the levels of strategies, and you will be able to understand the functions of strategic management, and also you will be able to understand the benefits of strategic management. So we begin by asking ourselves a very important question, which is what is a strategy? And when we talk about a strategy, we can simply define it as a high-level plan. These plans can be done at organizational level, it can be done at individual level, and so on and so forth. And that's why we are saying it can also be a course of action or a set of decisions that we need to make. So these plans, we can also have them as long-term plans, short-term plans. And when you are developing these particular plans, the end goal is to be able to answer a number of questions. And the first question is, what is the present position of the firm or the organization? So in that particular question, we are looking at our current position as an organization. What is it that we are able to do as at this particular moment? What are the activities that we are carrying out as at this particular moment? And then once we look at the present position, we now look at the future position, where we want to be as a firm or an organization. That will now, in the next discussions, next topics take us to the discussions of crafting very nice visions and mission statements. So what will be the future position of the firm? Where do we want to be as a firm in terms of market share, in terms of the kind of profit that we are generating as a firm, and so on and so forth. So that particular question is very important in understanding strategy and strategic management. And finally is what should be done to attain this future position. We have begun by looking at the current position. We now very well understand it in terms of customer numbers, in terms of market share, in terms of what kind of goods and services we are providing to our customers. And that now finally, we want to now ask ourselves, where do we want to be? And what is it that we can be able to do so that we can be able to attain the future position that we want to be able to attain. And then we also discuss what we call the nature and characteristics of strategies. So when we talk about features of various organizational strategies, number one, we say that they are objective oriented. That simply means that they are developed to achieve organizational objectives. So when we are developing strategies as organizations, we are also guided by the overall organization strategy. What have we set out as our plans, and how do we seek to achieve them? So using those set goals, organizational goals, then they can help us generate strategic documents. They can also help us develop good strategic plans that can be able now to push us to the next level. And also another characteristic is that they are future oriented. So anytime that we are developing characteristics, we are looking at the future. And that's why we have seen a question like, where do we want to be as an organization? And then also another characteristic is that it should have alternatives. So when you are developing plans, you know, even at an individual level, it is very important for us to have plan B, plan C. Alternatives means if whatever we have planned has not gone our way, then we need to have another option. That is what we mean by alternatives. And then finally, the last characteristic is that it requires proper allocation of resources. So no strategies, no plans can be achieved without the proper allocation of resources. So they are very, very critical to ensure that we achieve our set plans, we achieve our laid down strategies. And when we talk about resources, we are talking about, for example, the financial resources. We are also talking about the human resources, that is the personnel. We can have very nice strategies, but when we do not have the right personnel, then that puts us in trouble. That can be able to affect the level of success that we intend to realize with the strategies that we have. And also resources, we can also talk about time as a very, very important resources. So we need people to put in their time. We need leaders, managers within the organizations to put in their time, and also employees, and so on and so forth. Now we have different levels of strategies, and it's a further classification of what we have just said as a high level plan. So at this particular discussion, we now expand our discussion on strategies now to talk about corporate strategies, to talk about business strategies, and also functional and operational strategies. Those are further classification of strategies. Now, what do we mean by corporate strategy? We are saying this kind of a strategy is definitely going to explain organization's overall direction in terms of its general attitude towards expansion and the management of its various businesses and product lines. So when we talk about corporate strategy, we are looking at the aspect of maintaining, for example, the current market share. We are looking at the ability also to enter into new sectors and also be able to reduce organizational losses and so on and so forth. And this one is also further classified into what we call a stability strategy, the growth strategy, and also the retrenchment strategy. So we now get into the further classification of what we have just called the corporate strategy. So when we talk about the stability strategy, we are simply saying that firms seek to hold on their current positions in the product market. So the key focus is having the same products in the same market. And so stability strategy means now you are not venturing into new markets. You have maybe realized profits at a particular point using various products and services, and you want to maintain exact on those particular products and services. That is what we mean by stability strategy. And we are saying this kind of strategy is very suitable for those firms that are satisfied with their present position. Now, maybe we'd ask ourselves the reasons for having the stability strategy. What could be the reasons on why we want to have this kind of strategy? Number one, it is important when we are doing planning to strengthen a firm's market position, and also sometimes countries, organizations are experiencing a period of economic downturn. Take for example when we had COVID-19. That was a very difficult season for businesses, and therefore it was difficult to expand. It was difficult to grow. So everybody was trying to ensure that they are stable and they have a stable business running. So they would invest little or no resources into growth, because they are seeking to maintain a particular position that they are in, not to decrease in profits or not to decrease in customer numbers and so on and so forth. The other one is when we also use this particular strategy, like we have said, when the management is comfortable in a particular position, maybe they are the ones that are commanding the market, so they would want to maintain that position. And then the stability strategy is also adopted when we are coming from a season of expansion and growth. Maybe we have opened more branches, we have moved into new markets, and now we find it as a season that we need to relax a bit and watch the branches and the markets that we have ventured into, how they are responding. So this is a very, very important corporate strategy to be able to adopt. The other one is the growth strategy, and we are saying we can also call it expansion strategy. And the key focus in this kind of a strategy is to be able to grow and expand the market. And we are also emphasizing that the intention of this particular strategy is to increase the market share. So market share is simply the percentage in terms of number of customers that you are commanding in the market, and it is very, very important to be cognizant of that. In terms of market share, what percentage are you commanding? When we talk about growth strategies, excuse me, we can be able to think about companies like Facebook, but over and over in their growth strategy, they have even gone ahead and adopted other social media platforms. They have now acquired WhatsApp. They went ahead to acquire Instagram. All that is to be able to expand and grow. So that's a perfect example, and we can say growth strategy is majorly adopted or done through venturing into new markets. The other one is it can be done through the introduction of new product lines. Maybe we have ABCD products. We can still add E, F, and G within our products, and also it can also be done through serving additional market segments, and so on and so forth. Once we adopt the growth strategy, what could be some of the benefits that as an organization you're going to realize? Of course, the first one is you gain a better competitive advantage. Competitive advantage simply means that you have an upper hand compared to your competitors, compared to what your competitors are doing. And that's a major plus for you as a business. And also, it will lead to growth in sales of a farm. That's very, very important for you to be able to note. Of course, for every business, the key intention is to be able to ensure growth in terms of sales. And also, growth strategy is also beneficial in that we are going to grow our customer base. And finally, because we have expanded, like we have introduced new product lines, we will also end up reducing external risks that might be subjected to our farm or business. For example, competition risks. So it's a very, very important strategy to be able to adopt for your business. And the other one is the business strategy. We are saying this kind of strategy is going to seek to improve a company's competitive position of a company's products and services in a specific industry or market segment. Yeah, so the reason why adopting this kind of strategy would also be important is that number one, it will help you do planning. It will also help you be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of your business. And adopting this strategy also will ensure that you have effective allocation of organizational resources, and also finally it will be able to ensure that you gain a competitive advantage in the market. And then we have another strategy that we call the functional organizational or strategy. When we talk about functional, it is simply a strategy that relates to the growth of organizational departments. And we are giving examples here. The production department, the marketing department, the finance, the personnel. And we are saying the purpose of this particular strategy is to achieve functional objectives, which would lead basically to be able to achieve business unit growth and organizational objectives. So for the purpose of this particular strategy, we seek to have growth starting from at the departmental level. And once that is achieved, then we are sure even the main goal or the organizational goal or purpose or strategy for growth will be also be achieved. Now, we now ask ourselves a very, very important question. What is strategic management? And we are saying is simply the process of determining the strategic position of an organization and making strategic choices for the future and implementing a particular strategy. And strategic management is very, very important. This brings us to discussing various functions of strategic management. The first one is it being able to provide dual approach to problem solving. So when you develop strategies, you are also seeking to solve various problems and challenges that your business is encountering. It could be challenges around risks. Yeah, so when we talk about risk, we are talking about political risks, economical risks. When we talk about economical risks, for example, things to do with taxation, interest rates, those are things that we do not have control over them. So developing strategic plans that are aligned into solving these problems will now enable us to overcome those particular challenges when they come. We need to know how to respond to them. And we cannot respond to those problems blindly. We need to have developed proper strategies to be able to do that. And the other one we're saying it focuses attention upon organizational objectives. That is very, very important. And the other one, it offers a technique to manage changes. So through strategic management, we can be able to manage changes, adopt changes that are going to assist us to be able to succeed. And finally is that it enables the management to focus on the future with the same energy as at now. So the same energy that you're putting in currently, strategic management gives you an eye of the future, and thus you are able to put more effort into realizing the set strategies and goals. Now, we have elements of strategic management. When we talk about strategic management or when we talk about elements, we are simply asking ourselves, what does strategic management entail? That's very, very important. And the first one is the formulation of a company's mission. We are going to be discussing that in detail, but simply when we talk about a company's mission, it simply states the purpose on why an organization exists. So by reading the mission statement of an organization, you can be able to know on why the organization exists, and you're able to know what is it that you are going to do, so that you can be able to achieve a particular plan. The other one is access companies' internal conditions. So strategic management also involves, like we said when we were beginning the discussion, looking at currently what we are doing, and also looking at the future. What do we want to do so that we can get into a certain expected future. The other one is analyze the company's external environment, and the other one is to be able to, when we talk about external environment of a company on our number 3, these are simply factors or environment that organizations do not have control over them, and that's why it is important to analyze them. Government policies, the economic environment around inflation, taxation, interest rates, those are things that would affect our strategies and how we work around them, and also select long-term objectives and strategies to be able to achieve. This is also a continuation. Once you do that, the 5th one, you implement the strategic choices by means of budgeting or budgeted resource allocation. So there is an element of implementation. We're also going to discuss that more of a wider discussion. But when we are implementing, we need resources. I already mentioned on the resources we are talking about, the financial resources, we need them. We need the human resources. They require some budget to be paid in terms of salaries. That's very, very important. And also be able to evaluate the success of strategic process as input for future decision making. Now, strategic management is beneficial to an organization. So the development of high-level plans is something that we cannot afford to ignore, because it is going to propel our organization to the next level. And therefore, some of the benefits would be it enables the organization to identify and prioritize activities. So the element of prioritizing is very key, and it is very, very important. So strategic management now enables the organization to focus maybe on also the products and services that are giving more returns. We can be able to invest more resources in those products. We can also be able to look at the kind of employees that we would maybe want to retain, and identify ways that we can be able to retain them. So the issue about prioritizing opportunities is very, very important. We will also discuss about the element of SWOT analysis, and this is a key analysis in strategic management that we cannot afford to ignore, where we analyze an organization's strengths, we analyze an organization's opportunities, we analyze an organization's weaknesses and also threats. So we are saying, once we identify the opportunities that are ahead of us, for example, opportunities for expansion, we need to prioritize and take advantage of those particular opportunities. And the other one is that it allows major decisions to better support established objectives. So by developing strategic management, then we are able to focus or take major decisions. Of course, having in mind that these decisions are going to propel us to the next level of our firm's or organization's success. And the other one is that it allows more effective allocation of time and resources to identified opportunities. So through strategic management, we are now able to know what resources to allocate to what plan. And in essence is to be able to ensure that at the end of the day, our plans do not fail, our strategies are achieved. And of course, once we achieve those strategies, the organization is able to grow and move to the next level. This is a continuation of the benefits, the ability also to provide a basis for clarifying individual responsibilities. So once we have well set strategic plans, then we can now assign individual responsibilities to these strategies. The key aim of doing this is to ensure we have people that are accountable to a particular strategy. And that's why even at a country level, when a government is coming into place, they have what is called a manifesto. It is simply a country's plan on where they want to be. But the president alone is unable to execute that. So he now brings on board his cabinet. He now brings on board directors of state corporations. All these people are being put there in order to give feedback to the president, because he cannot be able to be everywhere, and also be able to assist him to achieve his overall objectives of the country. Then also it enables the organization to focus into the future. So strategic management will enable organizations to look at the future and know where we want to be and what is it that we can be able to do well. Now, we have firms that are reluctant when it comes to doing strategic planning and coming up with strategic plans. And so what could be the reason why these firms do not do strategic planning? Number one is the lack of knowledge on strategic planning. So firms really do not understand what is it that we need to do. How are we going to go about it? So for them, they just work aimlessly. They do not have a strategic plan that is guiding them. Yeah, so that is a major challenge. So we need more education on strategic management, like we are doing on this particular forum, so that people can understand the importance of having these plans and how they are able to propel the organization into achieving bigger and better things in their growth. Another reason why firms do not do strategic planning is that they fear to fail. This is a major issue. Maybe they have had issues in terms of achieving their plans. So they are fearing that they could invest a lot of resources in the development of plans, and those plans do not see light of day. And also prior bad experience. Maybe they have had bad experience in terms of their plans failing, or resources that they put in place to be able to achieve certain goals and they were unable to do it. For example, it is an organization that has developed a new product, and this new product happens not to do very well in the market. So that becomes a trouble for them, and then they begin to resist and fear to try again. And finally is self-interest within the organization. Of course, we may have very nice plans, even at a country level. We may have very nice plans. We want to develop our country. We want to move forward as a country. But self-interest means that we may have people within the country that are hell-bent to use the country's resources in the wrong way. And then we end up having corruption being a major issue that would be pulling us back from achieving our strategic plans. So even at an organizational level, we may have individuals who are hell-bent to amass resources wrongly, use money that is meant for development of plans, meant for projects in the wrong way, and that would really be able to put the organization in trouble. And when we have this kind of self-interest, then it becomes difficult for organizations to be able to develop and move forward or implement their strategic plans or even develop any of those strategic plans. Now, when it comes to the strategic management process, we begin by doing strategic analysis. So we analyze the strategies and how we intend to achieve them. Then from these analysis, now we may have a list of strategies. Now we can be able to make a strategic choice. And then once we make a choice out of the analysis, maybe we would have a number of them. Then the third one, now we go into the implementation stage. And finally, once we are through with the implementation stage, then we can be able to do strategy evaluation and control. Most of these things discussed here, like number 3 and 4, we are going to interact with them in our next discussions, and that will be critical into ensuring that we expound on our knowledge and understand. So that will bring us to the end of that particular discussion. I believe that it's going to be of benefit to you. I invite you to do more research, look at examples of strategic plans for organizations. What is it that organizations have been able to do, and how has those plans propelled them? What are the benefits that the organization has been able to gain? For example, we have talked about the growth strategy, and we gave an example of Facebook. How has Facebook benefited by acquiring social media platforms like WhatsApp, like Instagram? Those are things that you can be able to find out and understand practically the impact of strategies like the growth strategy.